Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. Hi, guys. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Tonight, the topic is about temptation or lack thereof. But I want to, the Creator wants me to address something. Me, I don't care, but the Creator is telling me to address something. A lot of people are wondering why I still have topics to discuss. And let me just say this. These conversations are spiritually based, right? They may go over to the physical world. We may peek into science. We may even, get into things that are agricultural and technical, right? But we're going to always find a way to relate it back to the spiritual world, right? The physical world that we live in is a very large place. I don't know if they have any people who's done this, but I don't know anyone who's been to every continent in every country and every body of water and every valley. I don't know anyone who's been everywhere, right, on this earth. So just imagine how vast the universe is, the spiritual world, right? It's infinite. It has an infinite amount of space. We could talk until the lights are out. There's a topic for every day when it is relating to the world, when it is relating to the spiritual world, right? There's always going to be something that will allow us to have a greater idea as long as we are committing ourselves to understanding, right? So I know that if you are not a spiritual person or religious or conscious, you may feel that at some point I would have stopped or I would have ran out of things to discuss. But we live in a spiritual world. The physical world that we live in is spiritual, not to mention the spiritual world that we barely spend, conscious waking life in. So, all right, it's always going to be something to cover and learn. Now, as far as temptation is concerned, a lot of us, including myself, I had a lot of different things that I was dealing with. Now, when you are tempted, you want to be able to obviously ward things off that are not for your highest good, that have nothing to do with your purpose. But I'm going to tell you, those temptations have everything to do with your purpose. And God has a clock on how long He wants you to feed your temptation. It's a timer on it, right? He is setting the clock to when you should be just about done with the things that are tempting you, right? This has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with things that don't help you, but they do, right? What do I mean by that? Smoking, right? Let's say God is like, you need to stop smoking, you're still smoking, and then you meet someone who has cancer from smoking, and then you meet other people who want to stop smoking, and then the person that you buy your smokes from, whether it's a cigarette, a black and mild weed, whatever, snuff, whatever, and then the person that you get your tobacco from or smoking goods is connected to a job that you're supposed to get, right? And now God is like, okay, the people that I wanted you in close proximity to get to your next level are all here, right? You have the people that are the examples to why you need to stay away from what you're doing. You have the people who too are on the same journey or have the same concept, right? They need to quit, or they want to quit like you. They may not know how. They may have already begun. They may be right behind you. And then you have the people that are the key. They're connected to your next phase, and they're connected to the phase that you're in now. They're the key to you going through the next threshold. You can use that analogy or that concept for anything, right? We have these different phases of our transitions, and they're not going to be the same for everyone. We all have our own phases and stages of our transitions, and in order for us to have the ideas, the concepts, the inner standings, the outer standings, the understandings, the overstandings, right? In order for us to be fully enthralled in what gives us, this concept of a better version of ourselves, we have to hit the bottom. We have to be able to go all through that, like a drug counselor, right? The best drug counselor is someone who knows what it is to be on drugs, who knows every phase and every stage of addiction, so they can know every stage and every phase of how to help people get through, right? So this is what I mean. Your temptations are going to lead you to your next level. Now, of course, there are things that we absolutely need to step away from, and you would know when you're done, you're done. If your temptation or your addiction or your habits are leading you to places that can kill you, that might be a telltale sign, that, okay, this might be something I need to absolutely, let go and get out of my life, like right now, right? So it's things like that. Once you get to the phase where you are comfortable enough with yourself, with like nothing else, then you're like probably or more than likely on the track that you need to be on. I don't think I could actually be where I am or have the mindset that I have if I hadn't gone through all of the warfare, all of the attacks, all of the downs, all of everything that made me feel like I was not gonna make it, right? Or even the things that still challenge me right now, because there are phases, okay, to the stages. And the best thing you can reward yourself with is the understanding and the ability to apply what you understand so that you can level up and move on to the next level, into the next phase. Now, your temptations are a testament, right, to the things that you have experienced. Now, ask yourself, where did my temptations begin? Like this thing that tempts me, this thing that can definitely lead me and get me in a world of trouble, right? It has a root. Where did you first begin your relationship with this thing? For people, some people it's food, it can be drugs. For others, it can be money. For some, it's sex, being lured in by lust, anger, right? Because temptation is not just something that makes you feel good. It's something to get out of issues or trouble. It's something that can give you what you want, or something that can help you escape, right? It's not always leading you to a state of euphoria. Sometimes you're being tempted by things that don't behoove you, or things that don't help you excel in the worst ways, right? But you still get to learn and gain a better understanding of yourself through these things that are tempting you. Like for my friend, I was asking him, you are like a man whore, right? This would mean that women are definitely like a temptation for him. So I'm asking him, like, okay, where did this begin? Like, where did your lust for women begin? What happened in your life that women are a temptation? What has happened to you? What have you experienced that money is a form of temptation? You have to go back to really look at when your interaction with this thing first started, and when did it become something that you have basically tethered to your spirit, tethered to your subconscious, and tethered to your identity, right? And excuse me for the background noise, when have you become addicted to this thing, right? Temptation and addiction is not always drugs. I mean, for me, food was always something. If you wanted to take me out, you could have used food to do it. If you wanted to lure me to my death, you could have definitely used food to do it. Until I, first of all, understood my relationship with food was toxic, right? I could eat a whole pie pizza to myself. I could eat a burger and still be hungry. Now that I have, understood that I have something that I need to change because it doesn't contribute to the best versions of myself, right? Number one. Number two, I made a commitment to change my identity in order for me to even understand that those temptations don't agree with my highest version, or even the higher version, some of the best versions of myself, right? They don't coincide well. They contradict everything that the Creator is promising me or leading me to do, right? So that's the beginning of learning how to say, okay, I need to let this go. I'm looking at myself different. I understand myself different. I'm moving into a new space in my life, and these things don't fit well with where I'm going, with what I'm doing, with what I want, with who I see my new self as. The alternate of that temptation, right? It may be cool, but how long is it going to be useful, right? Until I feel the need to go back to the original thing. Not to mention the rest of the people that I'm connected to. I don't want to be a bad influence. I don't want my temptations to spill over. I don't want my temptations to put me in situations that I would otherwise not be in if I hadn't had this thing, right, in my way. So there's many reasons for, or shall I say, reactions or causes, right, that give you the implication that you need to tighten up. And it's not always going to be about you. Sometimes your temptations can get other people killed, and it's just that simple. Sometimes you could be putting everything connected to you at risk because of your ability or your lack of ability to control. Now, before we end this, I want to say some people don't have temptations, right? These are pieces of your personality or your character traits that you might want to look at. What is it about you that you don't have temptations, that you are not one of those addictive personalities, that you have the ability to recognize that you don't need anything outside of yourself? So this can go both ways, right? Does this mean you're stuck? Does this mean you can't elevate? Does this mean you're operating at your maximum self? Right? Because temptation is a good way to navigate ourselves and to connect with others. Just as tempted. But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying your weekend and your summer. I hope y'all are drinking your water and eating your fruit and vegetables and sipping on your tea because it's free. And I do hope y'all ready to get them babies back to school. Love y'all. Peace.